flying out, hard and long. Now looking to the inside of Corey James.
Hey folks, and welcome to another episode of the Checkered Flag Talk Show. We've got a great show tonight, Johnny. A lot of stuff mixed with controversy. I want to talk about our sponsors first, though, that makes all this happen here. S&K Automotive, located at 1765 Main Street in Lakeport.
As well as Fast Lube Plus, located at 765 North State Street here in Ukiah.
And by Girlfriends, located at 14510 Lakeshore Drive in Clear Lake, 95422. And speaking of girlfriends, I want to give a special, I want to give a special shout out to her. She was on our show. You may remember she rode the bike in. Her husband has stage 4 cancer, and I want to dedicate the show to him and say our prayers and thoughts are with you from all of us at the Checkered Flag Talk Show. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, my friend. All right, with that said, I'm not going to be here on April 30th, Johnny. You know why? We've got Lethal Championship Wrestling. I'm going to be announcing for that, located at 16374 in Lower Lake at the Brick Hall. 6:30 p.m. The door is open. Show kicks off at 7 p.m. For more information on cost and all that, call 707-350-9019 or 707-998-9553. A brief history on that for those of you who are watching who are wrestling fans and know Scorpion. You may remember Scorpion versus Jack Moves. There is a rematch clause with that. That's going to be pretty awesome. And we're going to adopt a new idea, Johnny. Would you like to be in our studio audience, folks? We're going to try to adopt this idea for a studio audience now. Studio audience members get special prize giveaways that nobody else gets. Even people that call in actually won't get those. The studio audience will. Audience participation, such as asking questions live and on camera. How about that? Reserve your seat today. Must have reservations in a week prior to the actual show. Now let me explain how that works a little bit. We only have maybe about 20. We only have about a maximum occupancy of 25. So seating is going to be very limited. Send your reservations to Mendocino Access Television. Write to 171 Brush Street, Suite E, Ukiah, California 95482, or send it to our Facebook. You can search Checkered Flag Talk on our Facebook. Send it there or call 707-462-1407, the hotline here when the lines are open, or 707-350-0624. John Glasgow, the manager. I'd like to start adopting that idea. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so our guest tonight, Johnny, you're going to love our guest tonight. Dylan Kwasnlewski is how he pronounces his name. He'll be calling in just a few more moments here. He's going to be our guest, followed by Ron McConolgue's calling back in. Oh, awesome. Ron McConolgue has some great news for you, Diecast fans and your Kevin Harvick fans. He's got some great news. He'll be calling in as well. So in just a few more moments, we'll have him. Johnny, we can talk a little bit about it while we're waiting for the kid to call in. Now we have a brand new show, a brand new thing we're going to do. It's going to be called Afterburn. So Afterburn is what our segment's going to be called. We will get to Afterburn later, but while we have a chance, I wanted Johnny to talk a little bit about the Airport Auto Brokers late models. There was something that happened. I'll let you talk about that real quick while we're waiting for our caller to call in.
Well, all in all, I first got to thank Steve and his staff over at All American Speedway for making us really feel quite a bit at home. We had a really good. The weekend started out as being a really good weekend. We ended up with 16 cars, a little bit less than what we expected, but as far as the fan aspect goes, it seemed to be that they seemed to be very happy.
Nope, that may be our guest right there.
And with that, I'll conclude.
Hello, you're on the air with the Checkered Flag Talk Show.
Hey, this is Dylan Kwasnlewski. How are you guys?
Dylan, how are you, man? Hey,
Hi, Dylan.
Great. I want to give a quick rundown on Dylan's career before we get started with your questions, Dylan. Okay. Check this out. We're going to go with 2003, Johnny. The IFK champion, Race 3, Wild West Winter Shootout. He raced for kids' karts. Yes. In 2004, third-place champion, Junior 1 Phoenix Kart Racing, rookie season. I'm going to have to skip ahead to 2009 because, quite frankly, this kid has done it all. I tell you what, 2009, INX Legend champion, 2010 track record holder at Lake Havasu Speedway, with his late model. For more information, and actually this was courtesy of Dylan. How do you pronounce your last name? Kwasnlewski. DylanKwasnlewski.com. Courtesy of that. Hey, thanks for being on the show, man. I really appreciate it, bro.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. So hey, let's talk about your racing career. How did you get started in the wonderful world of racing?
Well, I started. My dad sponsored a Formula 96 team. His company sponsored it when I was about 4 years old, and he asked the driver Eric Jensen how you get into racing, and he said, well, you can buy him a go-kart and you can start there. So my dad said, well, okay, so once you turn 16, I'll buy him a go-kart. And he said, no, you can buy him one right now. So we bought a go-kart when I was 4 years old, and I practiced in my driveway in Connecticut just to get used to like the go-kart and used to racing. And then once I turned 5, I did my first race in Connecticut.
Right on, man. So let's talk about the kind of cars you raced. We'll start with the Wild West Winter Shootout. That was an actual open wheel kart.
Yes, it was a little kit kart. That's what you started when you first get into the when you first get into the sport. It's a little car. I mean, top speed is probably 40 miles an hour or something like that. But it was just for me to get used to it because I mean there was nothing else I could race. I was only 5, so that's just the series that kids can go into that they can get used to racing on a road course and get used to racing with other kids. And so there's just a little weed whacker motor that I started in right there.
Right on, man. So it was a little weed eater motor. Is that what you said it was?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I thought I heard that.
Out of a weed whacker.
I thought I heard that. You got some questions for the kid, Johnny?
Well, yeah. Explain to me a little bit about more of your family. Are you the first generation racer in your family, or is there a family? You have brothers, sisters that got involved with racing as well?
Well, my dad always wanted to race. His dad was going to get him a go-kart, and he always had a passion for it, and he always liked it. But I'm actually the first generation to actually race. I mean, my dad started me in it when I was 4, and then I've been doing it ever since.
And how old are you now?
I'm 15.
Awesome.
Hey, we have a person in the chat room said it's not coming in very well for you. I'm sorry for those folks who's not coming in. Actually, what you can do, either try refreshing your page, or actually you can catch us on YouTube. We'll have a replay shown on YouTube. So. All right, go ahead, Johnny. You got a couple more questions. I'm gonna go here and actually address the fans real quick.
So basically, where you at in racing right now?
I'm racing the Can-Am Pro Series currently, and I'm doing full season in that. I'm also racing late models at local tracks around here, and then I'm racing late models in California and anywhere in the United States, and then I'm racing super lates too, which is a upper class of the late models, just faster, and then modifieds also. Yeah, that's who I flag for. I flag for an organization called Airport Auto Broker Late Model Series, which was a traveling Northern California series, and they're basically a super late model type series. What chassis do you race? It's a Hamke chassis in the super late. It's a Victory Circle chassis in the late model. The West car, I'm not sure about that because we just started in that series, so I'm not too familiar with those cars, but those other two are what we race. Awesome.
All right, let's talk about your INX Legend Championship. Tell us about that and what that experience was for you. What experience was for you?
Oh, it was great. I mean, Legends taught me a lot about car control because when I first got into them, I'm used to go-karts with a lot of grip, and I mean, if you make a slight turn on the steering wheel, they're going to handle right away. So I got into the Legend cars, and it was really fast because I wasn't used to going that fast, and not a lot of grip in the cars. So it taught me a lot. And when I won that championship, it was a lot of driver experience that I gained from that, and it was a great experience. I mean, it taught me a lot about the sport, and it was really good racing also too, because all the guys in that series are really good race car drivers. They'll bump you, and so it was a really good experience when we got that championship.
Right on, man. Let's go back a little bit further than that. You actually raced a Bandolero too. I actually got to see some of the pictures your mother sent me. She sent me a Bandolero picture. Tell us about that experience and how that helped you out with learning to race.
Bandoleros, quite frankly, it taught me a lot about circle track racing. I mean, it didn't really teach me about car control because the cars aren't really fast, of course, but it definitely taught me about, it taught me situational awareness when there's cars around me, and it taught me how to turn left pretty much. So it was a stepping stone. And then once I got out of that, Legends taught me the most in the circle track stuff, but it was just so I could get into the car, get used to the circle track racing, because I came from racing road course all my life from go-karts.
Right on. So we have actually a fan in the chat room. Moto Man wants to know, says, "Hey Dylan, you should run with Airport Auto Brokers late models. They need a younger racer in there. What's your thought on that?"
I mean, I've never heard of the series, but it's always a great experience to run with different series and different other people, because you get more seat time, you get more awareness, like who's a good driver, and more seat time is always better. So yeah, I would love to run that series. I should definitely look up more about it.
Hey, I'll get back to you for a minute real quick. I've got to ask our tech something. This is I guess you can see, this is behind the scenes, candid. Hey, are we, make sure are we recording? We're recording on a DVD, correct? Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure we were doing that. Yeah, that happened one time. We had Bob and Nadine Strauss on, and it never got never got recorded. So, yeah, I had to make sure that I asked. Right on, man. So let's talk about your K&N Pro Series. Well, first let's talk about what K&N Pro Series is. What is the K&N Pro Series?
K&N Pro Series is what you can run since NASCAR changes the age limit. You can run it when you're 15. It's the old nationwide cars that they passed down to us, and I mean, it ranges from 650 horsepower to 700 horsepower, depending on what track you want to race at. And it's a really heavy car, but it handles pretty good. I mean, I've only been in a car, let's see, I tested in Vegas, and I tested recently at Miller at a road course, and then I raced the Roseville race, and then I tested there. So I haven't been in the car that much. I mean, it's a great series. All the guys that are in it are great drivers. I got to give thanks to Gene Price Motorsports helping me out with that, and our sponsors, Rockstar Energy Drink, and Lucas, Royal Purple Synthetic Oil, and K1 Racing Gear. I mean, they help a lot in that series, but it's a great series. Really good drivers. Everybody in there is competitive, and it's a stepping stone for NASCAR. Once you get into this, and you get more exposure, and big teams like Joe Gibbs or anything like that will see you, and hopefully they'll see me doing good in this series, and then I can go on and go into NASCAR.
Right on. Yeah. Well, there is so much you have accomplished. I mean, you started at the age of 4.5. Let's talk a little bit about you actually raced a modified car as well.
Yeah, the modifieds, I mean, it's a great experience. We got into that about last year. My crew chief, Chris Bray, he was always like pushing me to go into modifieds because he loves racing that series. And so we ran that series, and it was great. I mean, those cars are really fast, and they're really fun to drive because it teaches you a lot about car control, because it's a really big motor, and you got a lot of power, but the tire is not good. So you gotta handle your car and see if your tire's good. So it's a great series. I love running that series.
Right on, right on. So let's talk about, we mentioned the 2003 IFK Championship race, the Wild West Winter Shootout, the kid karts. Explain what the Wild West Winter Shootout and what the IFK Championship is. And you're only in 4.5 when you started that.
We were the big wigs in the go-karts, in the kid kart series. I mean, that's when you're 5 years old to 7 years old, that's where you race, and that's a big race. So when they came into my track at PKRA and in Arizona, we raced in that series, and we came out with a win in that. So that was really exciting, because that was probably like my first big win. That was at a big event, so it was really exciting. I mean, my family was really proud of me, and I was only I want to say 6 years old at the time, or 5 years old. So it's the top-notch race when you're in 5 and 7 years old.
Yeah, let's highlight your track record. You're the track record holder currently for Lake Havasu Speedway. Well, as of 2010, you're the 2010 anyway, in your late model. Explain about that and how that experience was for you.
I mean, that was great. We always came to Havasu. Havasu's a great track. All the guys that run it down there, Bill and Greg, they run it really well. It's a great track, and you go there, and it's a small track, but I mean, it's really fun to race at. And when we got that track record, it was amazing, because I mean, it's a track record, man. That's awesome. And it was held by a local guy out there who's really good out there. So when we broke it, it was a really good experience. We got the car perfect thanks to Chris Bray, and it was a really good experience.
Is that a dirt track?
No, it's an asphalt track.
Okay.
Okay. Let's another thing too, that let's skip ahead a little bit and talk about what happened, if you don't mind, this weekend. There was an incident this weekend. Lap 9 of the 23rd race caused damage beyond the body of your car. An incident happened there Saturday night. Where was that at? And let's talk about that, if you don't mind.
That was at Hickory Motor Speedway in North Carolina. I mean, the weekend, it was a bad weekend for us. We were good in practice. We were top 10 in practice. We had a good car, and that's where we were in Anderson. We came out pretty good. We were good in the race, but we were good in practice. And then once it got to qualifying, the tires were too cold, like insanely too cold. I didn't heat them up good, or we didn't have the right setup for qualifying. So I did horrible in qualifying. qualifying, and I never do that. So I was disappointed. I was harsh on myself because I never do that bad. But unfortunately, we had to race the B main because there was a lot of cars there. And in the B main, we got taken out, spun out, and it was only a 15-lap race. We got spun out with like 5 laps to go, and I was like, oh, well, great, now I'm going home. And but we charged up to the front, and then I finally got to that 3rd spot, which is a transfer spot. So, I mean, up to then, it was a bad experience. We weren't doing too good. But then we got to the race. We had a great car. I mean, we were moving up through the field, and we definitely could have had a top 10, top 5 finish, and because we had the car to do so. But there was a spin at that track. It's really hard to see because there's so much stuff in the infield that the spotters, it's really tough for them to see each corner. Mm-hmm. So there was a bad wreck in 1 and 2. I went into the corner, and then the spotter said, I can't see too much, but there's a wreck there, and unfortunately I got caught up in that. It bent in the front, got a lot of suspension damage and stuff. So, but it was good. I can keep going on, and but unfortunately it knocked it out of toe. It did a lot of stuff to the front end, and we just kept falling back because we didn't have the car for that after that wreck. So finally I just pulled off because we were just a danger on the track because it just wasn't handling good. And unfortunately it was a bad weekend, but I mean we got to learn from the mistakes, and so I mean it wasn't good for us, but I learned a lot from it. Yeah.
Let's talk about you actually races. Wow, this kid's done everything, Johnny. He actually races a truck too, or did. I saw a picture. One of the photos your mom sent me was an actual truck. Yeah, let's talk about that. What's that like for you? Are you still racing the truck right now, or?
No, we're not racing the trucks. We raced that for about a year. It was a great experience. I mean, everything. I love racing anything that goes fast. 4 wheels, 2 wheels, I don't care. So we went in the truck series and we ran with Lee Keach and United Nissan, and we did good. We got a couple wins out of that, and a lot of top 10s and top 5 finishes actually. And so it was a good experience, but. I mean, the car count started to drop down a little bit, so we felt that we weren't getting the full potential out of the racing. So we got out of that series and then went into more late model stuff.
Hey, I want to give a shout out real quick. Our executive producer's in the chat room. She's actually in Arizona. Terry Larson. Hey, Terry. I want to give Terry a shout out. Holler. Terry. We got the phone up as much as we can. So if you'd like to, just turn up your volume on your computer, and same for the listeners too. And I actually had a comment about my shirt real quick, and I want to say, actually I'm going to give them a shout out because they gave it to me for free. RecklessAbandonmentT-shirts.com. Check them out. They're pretty cool. He gave it to me for free, so I wanted to give him a shout out. Sorry about that, man. Continue.
About the ASA or about the past race?
You're talking about you were in a conversation about ASA.
Yeah, the ASA. I mean, it was a good series. Just unfortunately, like I said, the car count wasn't there, so we got out of that. But I mean, it was great. Lee Keach, who owned the team, I had a teammate, and I mean, we did really good. We both, between us, we pretty much won all of the races. But like I said, it was good racing, but then the car count started to go down, so we got out of that series.
Right on. You got some questions for the kid, Johnny?
Yeah, you mentioned something here about Roseville. Were you at Roseville 2 weekends ago with the K&N series? Tell me what you thought about Roseville. I just got back from Roseville doing the Airport Auto Broker Late Model Series. Working with Steve Fensler and his group over there at All American Speedway. Tell me how did you finish, and what did you think of the racetrack, since it's a very disciplined type racetrack?
Oh yeah, we came out with 4th place finish. And my teammate Greg Persley finished right in front of me in 3rd. It was a good race. That was my first K&N Pro Series race, so I was happy with that finish.
How'd you qualify?
I believe we couldn't finish a little bit better, but I was definitely happy with that. That track.
Let me interrupt real quick. I hate to, but I have to real quick. Real fast. We have a person in the chat room. The sound is very bad, so let me check with the tech. How's our sound? Because they're saying the sound is very bad coming over the live stream on the computer. We have ROMMCC, whoever that is, saying the sound's very bad. Now I want to let you guys know we're going to have replay up on our YouTube at youtube.com/checkeredflagshow1. That's the number 1. So if the sound's real bad, you can actually watch this later. It'll be uploaded. I'm sorry, bro. I had to get to the fans here. Go ahead and continue.
Oh, no problem. Like I said, we came out with that finish, but it was great. I mean, that track's a handful. When I first showed up, I was like, wow, this is a very oddly shaped track. The corners are big sweeping corners, except they're not fully. It's not smooth. Like you'll have a kink. You come up to this kink, and it's weird because you wanna do late apex. And I was trying to do it like at Vegas, but I learned a different line, and I kind of got used to it when I tested it there. But it was a handful to learn. learn because it was an oddly shaped track, but once we got into the race and once we got into qualifying and everything, it was great. Because, I mean, that track was a blast and everybody drove really good, and we came out with the 4th place finish, so I thought that was pretty good.
It's got that big hump coming off of. If you don't hit the mark off of 2 and you get out a little bit outside, they got that big hump on the outside there that I'm sure you're probably pretty aware of.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're on the outside and you're trying to pass somebody on the outside and you get a little bit too wide and then you hit the hump, and if you hit it bad, it'll definitely upset your car pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you get pretty loose when you're coming off of there, so it's a difficult track.
You know, the next best question that I've got, because I've raced a racetrack in a modified there before, back in about the mid-'90s, and you know, a lot of guys that I was talking to that race our series with us, with the super late model series there, that you really got to get disciplined in the fact that you got to really let the car rotate through the corners, and you know, if you barrel in the corner, brake hard, and try to get on the throttle, you're going to upset the car enough that you won't get the car to turn well. But you're off the throttle quite a long times, aren't you?
Yes, I mean, when I first got to the track and I started testing there, I wanted to get on the gas in the middle of the corner and a good run off, except my laptop kept getting slower because I was trying to muscle the car in there, but then kind of got used to the track and got my line down, and then you're pretty much off the throttle through the entire corner, and you got to wait, and once you think you want to get on the gas, you got to wait even more and get on the gas.
That's how it was in the modified when I raced there, and that was in the old configuration. So that track has been resurfaced and redone here a couple years, about 5-6 years ago and stuff, but. You know, I'm going to give a big shout out to Steve Fensler and his group over there at All American Speedway, because they do they have a great facility and stuff. But it's definitely an interesting racetrack, and it was the first time I've got to go flag over there and stuff too. So I really enjoyed my time there.
Right on. You got any other questions, Johnny? Don't want to hog the spotlight
here.
I know you
go ahead.
Yeah. So what are your future plans, immediate and beyond? And after that, we'll take some questions from the chat room.
Immediately right now, we're going to run the full K&N series, K&N Pro Series this year, and get a lot of seat time in that race with all these guys. And then next year, we're going to do the same thing, and hopefully go for the championship. Because this year, unfortunately, we missed the first race in Phoenix. But hopefully, we'll go for the Rookie of the Year this year and get that title. And then next year, we'll try to go for the championship.
Awesome.
Then after that, once I turn 18, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities. We could go into either trucks. We can go into the Nationwide Series or NASCAR, and of course my ultimate goal is to be a NASCAR. That's what I've wanted since I started racing. So, but right now we're racing the K&N Pro Series with G Price Motorsports and my teammate Greg Pursley, and that's going really well.
And you know who his sponsor is, Johnny, and I should give that a shout out too. You actually have a major sponsor, don't you?
Yes, Rockstar Energy Drink is one of our sponsors, and also Royal Purple Synthetic Oil. And then I also have to give a shout out to K1 Racing Gear, because they supply all my stuff for that.
Right on. You were going to say something, Johnny. Sorry about that.
So basically, that K&N Pro Series that you're running, is that basically on the West Coast that you'll be running?
Yeah, it's the West Series, and then they also have the East Series, which is the same thing, just on the East Coast.
Where you
Chase Elliott runs that series, and all those guys back there.
Where are you located at?
I'm located in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Cool.
We have a couple of Twitter questions. You can also check us out on Twitter. We're everywhere, Johnny.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're on Twitter. You can check it out, twitter.com/checkeredflagshow1. That's the number 1. We have a question. One of the questions from Twitter is, I can get. Oh yeah, right here. What is your you kind of already talked about your ultimate goal? And they also wanted to know who's your locally. Who you're inspired by locally, and who you're inspired by nationally on the NASCAR circuit. That's actually 3 questions.
My goal is to get to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. I mean, that's where all the big guys are, and that's the ultimate goal for everybody in circle track racing. So that's my ultimate goal. And locally, I mean, Kyle Busch is a local guy, and Kurt Busch, they came out of Las Vegas, and you can see where they're at now. Kyle Busch, I think, is one of the most talented drivers in NASCAR. And but he's more of a nationwide guy. So
yeah.
I mean, locally, my family definitely inspires me a lot to do good at this in this racing. But and then Chris Bray, I mean, I look up to him a lot. He's my crew chief, and he was a big local guy here. He won a lot of races here, and he did a really good job here. So.
Right on. Moto Man in the chat room wants to know how much does it cost to race in the K&N series?
It definitely costs a lot. I mean, racing is definitely it's an expensive sport. I'm not sure what the exact price is because my mom and my manager and my agent does all that stuff, so couldn't give you an exact price. But I mean, it's definitely pricey because I mean, I think roughly it costs about, if you wanted to rent a ride, I think it's like $30,000 a race or something.
the next question was from our Twitter again, and that question was what they wanted to know was how do they get into racing at such a young age? You got into a young age. What advice do you have for them? How can they get into racing?
Oh, you go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, they wanted to know how can they get into racing on your level at such a young age?
I definitely recommend going into go-karts at a young age. I mean, I'm not sure how old they are, but you definitely need to start in go-karts. I mean, I learned the most I could learn from anything in go-karts. Because, I mean, if you get in a young age, it's always better than starting late. So I was fortunate enough to start at the age of 4, and that gave me a lot of seat time and experience in cars. But, I mean, go-karts teaches you a lot about car control, it teaches you a lot about apexing corners, and it pretty much teaches you the basics about what you need to do about racing.
Yeah, there also another person, if I can gotta look closely here, it's Q-U-E-L-I, I guess is the chat room. Have you ever raced Travis Pastrana yet? Whatever that is, maybe you can explain.
It's funny though, because my agent at Wasserman Media Group, they represent Travis Pastrana too, and they do all the stuff for his nationwide team. But I've met him a couple times, and he's a cool guy. But unfortunately, no, I haven't raced against him yet because I wasn't in the series. I was in the Can-Am Pro Series when they changed the age group.
Yeah, well, being wet behind ears to racing, I've only been announcing for 3 seasons. Maybe you could explain who Travis, and for the listeners too, who Travis Pastrana is. Travis
Pastrana, he's a motocross guy, freestyle motocross. I mean, that's what he's most famous for is the freestyle stuff. He did the double backflip, which was insane at that time to do that. And, I mean, he raced everything. He races drift cars, I'm pretty sure. He races rally cars. He's got a monster truck. He's got an off-road truck, I think. Maybe I could be mistaken, but I mean, he drives anything, and he's a great driver at whatever he does.
Yeah. Also, you know, I don't know if you know him, but we had Jeff Mann Jr. on our show. We had a motocross guy on our show, number 885, Jeff Mann Jr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're real familiar with motocross here. Right on, man. So hey, do you want to give your sponsors a shout out and go ahead and give some shout outs to family members or friends and whatnot?
Oh yeah, I definitely got to give a shout out to my sponsors, Rockstar Energy Drink, Royal Purple Synthetic Oils, and K1 Racing Gear. And I also like to thank Gene Price Motorsports for everything they do, and my teammate Greg Persley for giving me coaching tips on driving. I got to give a thanks to Phil's Fabrication and everybody who helps out with that, Joe De Guevara, Mike Hurdle, Chris Bray, and everybody who helps out with that. And everybody that's involved in my racing, everybody, even the little guys, make a huge difference because without those little guys, they don't bring the family of racing together, and they wouldn't make me what I am right now.
Right on, man. That is so humble, and it's been so awesome to have you on the show. You know, we're gonna have to get you out here live, man.
That would be awesome.
I want this kid live on the show. We're gonna have to get you here live, man.
I'll tell you, he represents himself so well.
Yes, you do.
I
for 15? Yeah, for 15.
You represent yourself very, very well. I would never ever figured I was talking to a 15-year-old kid.
Right.
You know, and I wish you nothing but great luck. You represent your team very, very well.
Hey, thank you so much for calling, bro. It's been a great pleasure. You have a great night.
All right, thank you guys for having me.
Good luck, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, what a kid, huh? I love, wow, yeah. And hey,
I
just a few,
want
to go over our sponsors again real quick, but in just a few more moments, we've got Ron McConolgue going to be calling in. He's going to be giving us some Harvick news. We're going to talk to him for a little bit. Of course, got to pay the bills, Johnny. To make this happen, S&K Automotive located at 1765 Main Street in Lakeport.
As well as Fast Loop Plus located at 765 North State Street here in Ukiah. Thanks, Danny.
Yep, thank you, Danny. And, of course, giving a shout-out to Girlfriends, looking at 14510 Lakeshore Drive in Clear Lake, California, 95422. That's pretty awesome. So, we've got some great things happening, Johnny. And now let me let you folks know, we've got some things we're giving away. So, after we get the call in from Ron McConolgue, when Ron McConolgue is done, now pay very close attention. Oh, maybe in there. Hello, you're on the air with the Checkered Flag Talk Show.
Shannon, it's Ron.
Ron,
hi, Ron.
How are you, bud? It's good to hear from you. And hey, listen.
Funny.
Hey,
how you doing, Ron?
We're gonna do a for those of you who are just listening in, and we've got some people listening in, and so for those of you who may not know, Ron McConolgue actually was our co-host for about 15 episodes, and you also got us some very memorable guests as well. You booked for us as well.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and you were on the Daytona. You were featured on the Daytona 500 show. I had you on there too. So let's talk a little bit about your claim to fame and how you got involved with the whole wonderful world of racing, and then after that we'll get into your news.
Okay. Well, I got into racing probably back in 1991 when the diecast first started taking off, when Racing Champions started in racing, and I started when Jeff Gordon was first started racing in the Busch Series, and he started driving the Baby Ruth car, and I was looking for the first piece of diecast that they ever made for Jeff, and it was the Baby Ruth promo piece. It was on the Baby Ruth flat card, and it was a promo piece and everything, and I was looking for that. And I ended up ordering 3 cases of those, and then it took off from there, and that's how I got started in the industry. And I left for a little while, and then I just kind of just never really left, actually. I just keep staying around, and I've kept my contacts over the years, and I just keep messing around in it, and it's in my blood, and I'll probably never, ever leave.
I know. Hey,
I'm
Ron,
helping a friend now with doing his stuff. He has 447 cars that he's trying to sell and stuff, and just doing that and keeping my hands in the fire. I have some other things I'm working on right now with a kid out of Elk Grove, and then I'm doing working on some other deals that I'm trying to put together. We'll see if they come to pass or not. It'll be interesting if they do.
Are you still trying to get your own show, Ron? I'd love to see you get that off the ground, man. Are you still working on that right now?
No, we're not. We're just, I'm too busy doing some other stuff and worrying about my own
I would love to see
stuff I got going on.
I would love to see you do your own diecast awareness show. I would love to see that. That's why we have you on today, because we have a lot of we've had a lot of people that are wanting to know about the latest diecast stuff. So let's get to that, Ron. And you have some news, man. You've got some news for some Kevin Harvick fans. Take it away.
The new stuff for Harvick is the black Budweiser car. It is sold out. The Elites are sold out. The black car is sold out through all the distributors. What you find out there is all you're going to get. There's a flash coat car that's coming out. Then there's a stealth version of the car, which is basically an all black with a different finish to it, which will be out here, coming out, and there's 564 pieces of that made. You can find them on eBay. They retail for about $99.99. Nobody's seen the car yet. All they've seen is a rough picture of the car. Nobody knows what the finish looks like for sure, because the stealth cars have not been released yet, and nobody knows what they look like. All we've seen is pictures.
Yeah.
There's going to be the Danica Patrick car will be out shortly after that in a stealth version. There's only 400 of those. Like I said, also and I put a picture up of the Kyle Busch Bristol sweep set, the 3-piece set.
Where can they find that photo? Is that on your Facebook?
On the Bristol 3-piece sweep set?
Yes.
I put one up on the Checkered Flags talk shows set, or on the page, and then there was one on my Facebook page that I put out, and I sent it to a couple people that I know that were serious Kyle Busch fans. Then there are some on eBay. We'll have 3 of them, and they're going to retail for $130.
Wow.
But you get the Z-Lines car, which is an action piece. You get the Double Mint car, which is an action piece, or a Lionel car, excuse me. Some action. And the hood and trunks open on both of those. Then those are about $120 right there. Then you'll get the CFS contender truck, which is another $40 to $60 there. So you're getting about $180 worth of cars plus the box and everything. And if anybody remembers the Goodyear and Mac Tool 3-piece sets that they used to make with the dragster, the funny car, and the pro stock, it's going to be about that size box. So you're looking at a couple $100 worth of die cast for about $130. So it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. I'm not just saying this either because Ron's one of my good friends, but I know Ron because I've done price comparison. He is the best deal in town for getting die cast. Yeah, where can they go? I mean, one is how do you acquire all this information, and where can people go to buy this from you?
I'll give you my phone number. It's 707-350-4671.
Okay, 350-4671.
Yeah.
People can call. So again, 707-350-4671. Call Ron McConolgue if you want to reserve your Harvick cars and also the other cars that he mentioned. Right on, man. Right on.
Also, they're going to do Kyle Busch Dollar General truck. This is the first time it's ever been made. They're going to be limited to 1,000 pieces for the non-autographed version and 500 pieces to the autographed version. It will be through rowdybush.com only.
Wow. How do you? Well, I know you. Let me tell you something about Ron, folks. Anybody that has anything to do with the business, Ron McConolgue knows. How do you acquire all this information?
Just through. I've made a lot of connections through all the years I've been doing this, and just networking through people I know and being on various diecast sites and stuff like that. Now, just here's a word of an interesting tidbit of information. The last 3 Dollar General trucks that they made customs out of, they've sold for over $200 each. So the Dollar General trucks, if you order them from rowdybush.com and you can afford to buy 2, I would buy 2 because they're only limited to 1,000 pieces, and they'll be $100 to $150 trucks in 6 months' time.
Wow, and they can call you, and can they order those from you?
No,
okay.
I'm not going to order any because we won't get a price break, and we'll have to pay the same price as everybody else.
Yeah, yeah.
And the autographed versions will be $80 a piece. Kyle Busch's autograph is easy to obtain, and if you go to the Infineon race, you can usually stand by the fence in the pits, and you can get most of the drivers' autographs by the fence.
Race Fan wants to know: is that because they are a limited sponsor? Is that the reason why they won't give it to you for the price?
Give you a price break?
Yeah, price break. Yes.
There's only 1,000 pieces made, and that's an extremely low run.
Oh, okay.
Diecast.
Okay, then that explains it. Right
and they won't. It's coming through him, and it's just like the diecast that comes through Kevin Harvick Incorporated, or KHI as it's known. His is limited as well, and it is autographed. But his is $59.99 or $69.99 a car, and he doesn't usually charge any extra for his autograph. And this is the first piece that Kyle Busch is doing, and he's a little bit different story, and his stuff is limited to 500 pieces, so it will be autographed. But it's his truck, it's the Dollar General truck, and it's not something that's going to be mass-produced also, so.
Okay, that's understandable.
But even at the 1,000 pieces, and it's like a lot of people are saying, Kyle Busch's autograph is easy to obtain because on race weekend he does usually sign in his trailer.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And he does sign, at Infineon, he does sign usually at the fence like most of the drivers do. So you can obtain his autograph that way.
Okay. Well, we got to go over recaps and stuff, Ron. It's been great having you on the show. Is there anything else information you'd like to give out before we let you go?
Yeah, a couple other things real quick.
Sure, go for it.
Robbie Gordon has just released his diecast as well. And if you've never looked at it, the Speed Energy cars are nice-looking cars, and they are available through they are a limited production run. Again, there's only 1,000 of the 124 cars made, and they came out in yellow, pink, and orange.
Oh, wow.
And they're running for a 3-car set. They're running about $129.99 for them, but there's only 1,000 pieces to go across the United States. And in the 164th, there's pink and orange are the only 2 colors they made, and they are very eye-catching. And they're on the Speed Energy drink website, and you can buy the drinks on the website, and you can buy the diecast on the website, or you can buy it through your local diecast dealers as well. So
sweet.
Awesome.
Well, hey, thanks for being on the show, Ron. It's great to hear from you.
Right.
How are you feeling before we let you? How are you feeling these days before we let you go?
I'm okay.
Right on, man.
Oh.
Well, hey, it's always.
Have a good night, you guys.
Hey, you too.
Take
It's
it
always
easy.
good to hear from you, Ron.
All right.
Take care, bro.
Easy, Johnny.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And that was Ron McConolgue. Well, with diecast awareness, we're gonna have to try to make that a regular thing where he calls in every week to give. I love hearing from him, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's a good guy. We had him on our show. Like I said, he's did 15 episodes for you while you were off doing your
working
thing, and he got us some really, really good guests. So it is now time, folks, for Afterburn. That's right, Afterburn. We're calling it. It's the very first segment of Afterburn. And check us out. This is going to be a segment where we highlight Northern California auto racing. And we're going to start with Johnny Miskell. We're going to actually start with the Airport Auto Workers late models. And Afterburn is actually brought to you by S&K Automotive, located at 1765 Main Street in Lakeport.
Late models.
Late models. Let's start with the late models.
Interesting weekend. Like I said, it started out, we had a really good weekend. I think the guys were pretty up in the air.
Hey, I got to, real quick, I don't want, boy, I feel like I'm interrupting you to the people today, but you know, my mind is running 1,000 miles a minute, and after we're done, now wait till we're done with the segment. When we're done with the segment, we're going to have open lines, folks. So don't wait till after Johnny and I are done. 707-462-1407. We are giving away 2 tickets to a race of your choice, either April 30th or May 7th, right here. And we are also giving away this, too. The number 88 Dale Earnhardt Jr. National Guard poster. So get those phones ready. Get those dialing. Get them ready. Get them dialing fingers ready. As soon as we're done with Afterburn recap, you can start calling in to win. All right, Johnny, go for it.
Well, you know, like I said, I think our guys really enjoyed their times that they spent there at All-American Speedway. It started out it's a very disciplined racetrack, just like our last guest got through talking about. But it worked into a pretty good weekend. All in all, I felt. Truth or not truth? I felt really good about being at Roseville and stuff like that. The fans were great. The people were great. We had some incidents that happened with the particular driver, and it just kind of worked out to being a different type of a show. Well, what ended up happening, and I really don't understand why promoters have a tendency of doing this, but they bring you into their group of people that we have at the racetrack, and they just don't give us enough time to do it. Right. You know, we only had 3 different class of cars there, and we still find a way of getting ripped off on our laps and stuff. We had about 30 minutes to run 75 laps in a late model race, and we got down to where we were 9 laps short. But with all that, it just it worked. It was working up, Shannon, to a really great finish. You know, we had Trevor Cristiani, who you know, if I had to rate anybody throughout the whole race, was definitely the class of the field that night. You know, he kind of got messed up with a lap car and drove all the way back from about 3rd or 4th to 13th and worked his way back up to for the last 9 laps of the race to put on a pretty good show, trying to pass around Dave Miller, which really wasn't cooperative whatsoever. But then the time factor with All-American Speedway being there in the central part of Roseville, it made it pretty tough for us to.
So was the weather good?
Weather's fine. Never got it. We got maybe 2 drops of rain the whole night, but We were never threatened by rain whatsoever.
Right.
But the curfew, they've got a 10 o'clock curfew there. You know, most state facilities have 10 or 11 o'clock, and we had a 10 o'clock, and we got down to, like I said, which was building up to an awesome finish, and got shut down due to time. And let me tell you, the crowd was not very happy about it at all.
Yeah. Well, you know, it happens with the time factor. I mean, you got the noise ordinance, which is 11 o'clock.
It's 11 o'clock there, 10 o'clock there.
Yeah, 10 o'clock there.
10 o'clock there.
Well, then there you go. It's 10 o'clock there.
Yeah.
So we're going to get on to Ukiah Speedways, and this is coming for immediate press release coming from the desk of Nadine Strauss. We had a great race this weekend. I'm going to give my 2 cents on it, too. April 23rd, 2011, we had the very first Tri-Track Challenge Series that had started. And, you know, it was a great race. We had to cut out the heat. We're doing heat trophy dashes this year. We had to cut out those. Reason, it was raining, and the track had started getting slick. And so that's from the desk of her. Basically, I'm going to go over that. Colby Berry won his second season Bandolero feature in the Bandoleros. Also, Anthony McCoy captured his bomber event. Jesse Hutchins victorious with all-new four-banger class, which debuted. And let's talk a little bit about the four-banger class. Unfortunately, we were not able to do the chicane course because of the rain. So they just did a regular race with them. We will have the chicane course on April 30th. If I'm wrong and you're watching, Nadine, you're welcome to call in 707-462-1407. Thomas Wright hugs his daughter after his big win with a Tri-Track Modified Challenge. That was his very first ever, and he hugged his daughter. That was a great thing to see.
Saw pictures of it.
Yeah, yes. I mean, it was an awesome thing to see, and I was real happy. And you know, there was some things that happened. I mean, there was I don't know whether it was a slick. Again, I'd love to have Nadine call in to give her idea why. We had quite a few incidences. It took us Johnny. We didn't even get. It took us like 10 minutes to get not even a lap. And there was some big pileups. All of a sudden we had there was another issue too, and the 2K car. Yeah, we talk about that. Darren Snyder, he felt he was done dirty, and I mean, you know, it was just the nature of the race. He was put into the, he felt he was put into the wall, and some things happened. Being the second.
It's beginning to be the nature of modified racing, you know.
You know, that's just it. Hello, you're on the air with the Checkered Flag Talk Show.
Okay, I didn't mean to do that. I'll call back later.
Sure, no problem. Oh, that must have been Dylan again. Oh. That sounded like Dylan, yeah.
Welcome back, Dylan.
Happy birthday to Johnny on Saturday. Johnny had a birthday, and Nadine Strauss's birthday today. Happy birthday, Nadine Strauss.
Yeah, my birthday.
Anyway, yeah. So you know he was in second. He was in second place, and his feeling was he felt he could have won if that hadn't happened. And you know, there was quite a few incidents that happened, and I don't know if it was the slick track. I was asked to form an opinion, and as the announcer, I'm not going to do that.
I can tell you right now. I'll stress opinion big time. You know, and anytime you put syrup down on a racetrack and you start to add water to it, if that was the case, it becomes a slippy mess. And you know, and I now that you just said that, Shannon, I would probably like to say that was probably a majority of the problems with the modified division that night. Not being there to know what really happened with the whole deal is, it's just to be said. But
right on.
That syrup would make a difference.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. A race fan wants to know, Johnny, real quick. We'll get to Lakeport Speedways, but Johnny wants to know who won the late model and legend race in Roseville.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I think. Well, yeah, I know who won. Obviously, I know who won the late model one.
Yeah.
The late model one was won by David Miller from Oregon.
Okay.
And I want to say, I'm not really positive. I want to see Marky Marks probably won the legend race, but I'm not 100% positive on that.
Is there I'm sure there's a website they can go to find out if Roseville.
Sure.
MyLaps.com. Go to
MyLaps.com.
If anybody wants to know anything, go to MyLaps.com. Type in a search. Just type in the speedway you're looking for. You can type in Roseville, Ukiah, Lakeport. Speaking of Lakeport, let's get to Lakeports. And I didn't have any main events for Lakeport. I don't know whether that's because they got rained out. They got rained out for the main events? Okay.
They got the dashes in, that was it.
Then that explains. They did get to get through the trophy dashes, which was cool. Evan Smith won in the Bombers.
Right on Evan.
He took a 14.849 points there. Brian Denton came in second. Eric Ogram, the number 42 car, came in third, and bringing up fourth was Travis Thorne. Extreme Asphalt Outlaws debuted that weekend, and Kyle, if you're watching, you're welcome to call us and give your 2 cents too. Wade Coleman took the trophy in the 83 car. 79 car, Forrest Kieker in second, and I venture to say, knowing Forrest like I know Forrest, I'm sure he gave a run for his money to Wade Coleman.
Definitely good
I'm sure it was not an easy win for Wade Coleman. Kyle Tellstrom in third, Sean Sweeney in the 67 car in fourth. Jammer Pro Dash. They got Jammer Pros and Juniors. Jammer Pro Dash. Elise Thornton won. Mike Peterson in the 29 and 88 car. Elise Thornton. Mike Peterson in the 29 car took second and third. Edward Klein in the 38 car. Wayne Young in the 73 car. That name sounds very familiar. I know Wayne Young. Wayne Young is a good friend of mine. Yeah, he actually was a fan. Wayne Young, believe it or not, at one time was my boss when I worked for a landscape outfit. I know it's him. Right on. So mini stocks. Let's get to mini stocks. Thomas Esberg in mini stocks in the number 20 car took the win. Sean Keown, who we've had on our show, came in second. Congratulations, Sean. Jay Strutnell took third. Mike Peterson took fourth in that. And, of course, modifieds, Forrest Kieker won in the 79 car in the modifieds. Aaron Hicks in a 67 car in second. David Lindell in third. And Sean Sweeney in a 44 car in fourth. It sounds like it was a very good night of racing. Pretty awesome. All right, folks, now your chance to call in. You can start calling in now. 707-462-1407. We have,
automatic dial.
Hey, you're on the air with the Checkered Flag Talk Show. We've got some prizes to give away. Hello? Hello, you're on the air with the Checkered Flag Talk Show.
That was a hang-up. Next.
That was a hang-up. All right, try us again, man. 707-462-1407. I have got 2 tickets to give away here. They're only good for one race, either this week in April 30th or the May 7th race. I've got 2 regular stand tickets, general admission right here. So call in, 707-462-1407. And we're giving away this, Johnny, this wonderful, beautiful poster here, the 88 Dale Earnhardt Jr. National Guard poster. So we're giving this away too. 707-462-1407. You have about 6 minutes to give us, or 8 minutes rather, to give us that call. Give us a call right now. Whoever tried to call, try again. 707-462. Hello, you're on the air with the Checkered Flag Talk Show.
Good evening.
Good evening. Can we ask who's calling?
It's Sally.
Hi, Sally. How are you? One of the deals is you had to be an actual racing fan.
Well, why can't we give them to a sponsor if we win tickets, since we don't do any sponsor stuff besides
Okay, then that sounds. That's perfect. You know what? That's a great compromise. So we'll do that. And I apologize, Sally. I should have mentioned that when I gave the prize away. I should have mentioned what the stipulations were. But sure, we'll give you the 2 tickets. You can give them to your sponsor if you'd like. Right on, Sally. These are for you.
Well, considering the street stocks are racing this weekend and Shelby's going to be racing, we're going to give them to our sponsor, Windsor Bowl.
Oh, awesome. Street stocks? These are for Ukiah Speedway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, street stocks are racing this weekend. I didn't think they were. My bad. I stand corrected again. Wow. Excuse me real quick, Sally, if you can see. Watch. Yeah. I'll put my foot in my mouth. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So street stocks are racing this weekend. And you want to give a quick a rundown on what's all racing this weekend? Do you know?
Street stocks and bombers.
Street stocks, bombers. We're also the chicane course is coming back. The 4 bangers.
Well, hopefully Georgia Bella has some more cars out, because it's a shame to only see 2 cars actually out there racing.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Well, hey, thank you so much for calling in. You got the tickets, all right?
Okay, I also want to say congratulations to the Smith boys. They did a pretty good job out there for all but the last corner of the modified race this weekend for their first time.
Yeah, yes, they did, and I mean, the race was an awesome race. I mean, despite the controversy, it was a great race, and I very much enjoyed it.
All right, we'll see you Saturday.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Well,
Shelby.
you won't see me Saturday, but you'll see Johnny and them. I've got a wrestling show I'm announcing. But I'll make sure Johnny gives you the tickets, okay?
All right, cool.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Shelby.
Bye. That was, of course, you know, you said Shelby.
Is that who it's called? Shelby Holmes, wasn't it? Who was
That
it?
wasn't Shelby Holmes.
Who'd you say it was?
No, that wasn't Shelby.
Oh.
Did you recognize the voice? It's Sally.
Oh, Sally, I'm sorry.
Sally Helm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Sally Helm. Yeah, it
Shannon,
was Sally.
I'm still going a million miles an hour.
Yeah.
I'm still in bed. It was a rough weekend.
Yeah,
Rough,
yours
rough.
is too. But these are, if you can get, are you gonna get these to Sally probably before I am?
Yeah.
Okay, hey, we have 5 minutes left. 707-462-1407. The 88 poster, Dale Earnhardt Jr. National Guard. I still have this to give away, folks. Woohoo! Woo! Woo! Free poster. 707-462-1407. Give us a call, and I'm sorry, I have to say you must be a race fan, and you got to be kind of outside the whole racing thing. I'd like to give away to an actual fan. So you must be that to win this poster. Again, 707-462. Oh, here we go. Hey, you're on the air with the Checkered Flag Talk Show.
Hi, this is Bruce Page.
Who?
Bruce Page.
Hi, Bruce.
Hey, Bruce. How are you? Well, you won. You won the number 88 Dale Earnhardt Jr. poster, and where are you calling from?
Ukiah.
Okay. Where are you? We'll make sure we try to get this poster to you. You can either come down to the station if you'd like, or you can call us on the same phone line when we're off air. Call us at about 5 after, and we'll try to get. We'll actually get your address.
Oh, okay.
Unless you want to come down to the station and get it.
Well, you guys are on Brush Street, right?
Yes. Yeah. We're on Brush Street. You know where Malden Auto is?
On the right-hand side there?
Yes. Yes.
I know where it's at.
Yep. Okay.
Cool.
Well, hey, you won the poster, man. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. That was one of our. That's an outside fan to me. I've never heard of him, so he won the poster. Right on. Well, Johnny, we only have a couple of minutes left, and I want to. I don't know who we have on next week, but of course, stay tuned. Want to go our sponsor, S&K Automotive, located at 1765 Main Street in Lakeport. Who else, Johnny?
And Fast Lube, located at 765 North State Street. Thank you, Danny.
And by Girlfriends, located at 14510 Lakeshore Drive in Clear Lake, 95422. Of course, folks, I will not be here for the April 30th race. For those of you who are in Lake County and live over there and you don't want to spend too much gas money, we've got a great show happening. Lethal Championship Wrestling live, located at the Brick Hall, located at 16374 Lower Lake, California. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. Bell time, which is start time, starts at 7 p.m. For more information on costs and all that, you can call 707-350-9019. Tickets are sold at the door, or 707-998-9553. Rematch clause, Scorpion versus Jack moves. That's going to be a great one. We don't know who these people are, but let me tell you, these guys are trying to get to the WWE, Johnny. So they are going to put on that much more of an independent show.
Awesome.
That much more of a show.
Awesome.
They want to show their talent. Come out and watch these guys. It's going to be a great show. I'm going to be the I do the color commentary, so you can come out to see me too as well. All right. Well, what are we? How are we on time, NASCAR Tech here? We have a minute, and we have a minute and 15 seconds. Like I said, we don't know who we have next week. So if anybody wants to call in and let us know when the next Lakeport race is, so we have that. Of course, April 30th this weekend. Ukiah Speedway. The four bangers are going to be back. They're going to do the chicane course. We also have bombers. We have street stocks, and we have the legend cars coming back. Yep, the Airport Autobrokers legend cars will be back. That's going to be April 30th. Starting at 7 p.m. Gates open at 5. I tell you what, it's going to be a great race. You're not going to want to miss it. And of course, like I said, for the real quick, one more time, for those of you who are in the Lake County area and we know how gas is and you wanted to do something locally, April 30th, LCW presents Spring Slam, it's called, Johnny.
Uh-huh. I'm just reading the chat room. I'm just laughing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I missed it. Was it something in the chat room?
I don't know. I just read the chat room going, well.
Well, hey, we got to go, folks. Thank you so much for calling in. Stay tuned to find out who we have for next week. Peace.
flying wall! Hard in the wall! Now looking to the